Hello again everybody. So welcome to another update on my Enduro MTB build. Today is quite an exciting day because literally 10 minutes ago the new forks arrived for this bike. So you might have seen in the previous video I built the bike up with a spare set of Rockshox Recons I had lying around, but they were never going to be the permanent fork for the bike. That was just so I could get it standing up and see what it was going to look like and get a few measurements for setting up my cockpit and stuff like that. But as I say, the new forks have arrived, and here they are. So this is the Rockshox Zeb. It's the base model, so it has the rush damper rather than the charger damper, so it is a bit more basic. It's got, I think as far as I'm aware, yeah, it feels like it's got 3 clicks, so that's going to be fully open, I guess, slightly firmer pedalling and some sort of lockout, I would imagine that is. So it's quite basic, but it does have rebound adjustment. Now, the reason I went for this was because I wanted something that was going to be burly and strong. I mean, these are 38mm stanchions. They're going to take a fair bit of abuse. But the other great thing about this was I got it really, really good price from Germany. It's brand new, but it was, yeah, as I say, quite cheap. But it is fully upgradable. So although it's got the more basic air spring, I think is it Debonair or Debonair Plus? I don't know, Debonair. But it's got a more basic air spring and more basic damper, but the actual lowers and the stanchions are the same as the Ultimate model. So I can drop the charger. Well, at this point I can drop the charger 3.1 damper in here, but yeah, and then the same with the air spring. You can upgrade that to the slightly newer air spring with the buttercups both sides and everything else. All these upgrades are possible. However, right now at my level of riding and also just my general preference, I don't need an awful lot of adjustment, like compression adjustment and stuff like that. I tend to just set the air pressure, maybe run a couple of bottomless tokens if I need to, set the rebound, and I'm generally happy. I'm not kind of like super into really dialing in the suspension. I tend to just ride the bike and compensate for any, lack of refinement by just riding around it. But obviously, if I find, as my riding progresses, if I find myself needing to adjust more things, I can drop a different damper into this. But yeah, I'm just like super happy how this thing looks. Another reason I did spend a tiny bit more getting this rather than the Rockshox 35 was, aside from the fact it's obviously a much more capable fork, this is designed for proper enduro and that kind of stuff, so it's definitely going to stand up to any abuse that I give it. Obviously I want to ride this bike down the Mega Avalanche, so this fork is going to be awesome for that. Yeah, it was actually lighter. So compared to the Rockshox 35, even the gold version, this is still like a good couple of 100 grams lighter. I think it was almost half a kilogram lighter actually. So yeah, really, really happy with these. So I'm going to go ahead and chuck these on the bike. I won't bother filming that because there are literally hundreds of videos on YouTube of people fitting forks onto bikes. It doesn't really change, but I'll catch up with you guys when it's on. Okay, so unfortunately it's got dark since I started working on this because I had to take a break to go to work. But this is where we're at the minute. So we have, of course, got the Rockshox Zeb fully installed, which, I mean, I don't know if the camera can really kind of show this, how it looks like in real life. But I absolutely love just how chunky this fork looks. Like, I don't, as I say, because of the camera lens and because of various other things, the difference between what you see and what you see with the human eye is probably going to be different, but take it from me, it looks incredibly nice. I love this. I mean, is it overkill for the majority of riding I do? Probably yes, but as I say, it's a fair bit lighter than the fork that I was going to go for, and I just think it looks awesome. Not a couple of things, but the other thing I've done after I sorted the fork, I've started with the brakes. So obviously I don't have all the components yet, but I've gone ahead and installed the calipers front and rear, along with the adapters necessary for the 203mm Shimano brake rotors I'll be using. I've also run the rear brake line, so it runs externally on this bike. It's the only external cable or hydraulic line I'm going to be running, apart from the front, of course, that's always external. But the gear shifter and dropper post cables will be internally routed. Reason I've gone for the external routing on this is partly because that's just how the frame is designed for it. Also because, honestly, the way it runs on the inside like that, it's not that bad to look at. And also just for ease of maintenance. If for whatever reason I have a problem with the hydraulic line, it's a lot easier to take it off and install a new one externally than internally. But yeah, all the top bit and everything else is going to remain clean. So yeah, with the front, same thing. So the Zeb actually has post mount for 200mm rotors. That's the minimum size rotor that this fork will accept. But because I'll be using the Shimano 203s, I've just got a couple of shims in there, 3mm shims, just to put the caliper in the correct position. So all I've got to do now is, right now I've got the front hydraulic line going up to the left lever. Now that's how it came, because obviously living in the Czech Republic, the front brake is on the left hand side. I don't like that. Obviously I grew up in England where the front brake is on the right hand side, so I'm gonna be switching that over. The only slight problem is that this line is a bit too short, so I'm gonna have to get a new line, a bit of a longer line, so I can reach it over there. And then, so this is the obviously the rear one, that's going to be cut a bit shorter and go into the left lever. And then that'll be it for the brakes. And then all we are waiting for at that point, obviously, is the dropper post, although I do have this temporary one for now. But more important than that, we're just waiting on the bottom bracket, crankset and drivetrain, which I shall be buying next month. So yeah, we're getting very close now to actually being able to ride this beast, which is, I'm just really looking forward to it. So hopefully you liked this little update. If you did, please do give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, go check out my other videos. Like I say, this is going to be done in the next sort of month or so, and then we're going to start actually getting out and riding it and seeing what it's capable of, which I'm hoping is going to be quite a lot. So there we go. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you all again soon.